Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing. This is for a special video. This is for Let's Go to Japan. I saw this game. I had to pick it up specifically for my wife because she loves Japan. She's actually got to go there and she really would love to go back. But, you know, being adults, it's hard to sometimes save money to do that and find free time and blah, blah, blah. So I thought this would be I saw this game, like, this would be a really cool experience for her. I did show her, I didn't tell her I was getting it. She was super excited to actually play it, which is, like, to be honest, very rare for her to be like, put that game on the table now. So it came packaged like this, which is really cool. This obviously isn't as good as it looked when it shipped here, so like if anyone that like worked on the game or ever saw this, it was definitely wrapped better than this. This was my half-assed attempt to try and rewrap it. But yeah, it came with this cool thing. This is a deluxe version, which had some of the extra like Kickstarter goals and stuff like that, which we will go through as well. Obviously if you pick this up in retail, it's not gonna come with this awesome little like cloth thing, which is really cool. So this is Let's Go to Japan. It's kind of like a tableau builder type game. If you're not familiar with what a tableau builder game is, or a tableau game, and I might not be correct on that on the terminology being used for this game. I know what a tableau game is, just it might not necessarily relate to this. But what you want to do is throughout the game is you are going to be building up your itinerary for the week of your going to Japan. You're going to draw cards, play a card, pass them to the next player, but you'll be setting them down in order of like, oh, what am I going to be doing on Monday, what am I going to be doing on Sunday, and you can play them in different orders. We'll kind of look through the rule book. 160 cards, that's freaking crazy. I was actually surprised when I started going through them. But yeah, you're going to be playing your week, you're going to be scoring different points based on what cards you play at certain points. And at the end of the game, you'll actually go through and do your final score through everything else. So based on like what you put down in certain orders and what you do this, you'll score more and more points. And let's just see who essentially scored the most points, but it's really neat because it's going to get to go through all these different neat locations. Now, it's not all of Japan. It's basically, your traveler's plan experience. Your own dream vacation in Japan will bounce between Tokyo and Kyoto, so we'll be going between the two of them. Anyone that is a Japanophile or loves Japanese stuff, my wife included, is probably going to watch this and read me a new one over and over on how often I mispronounce names in here. I will try my best, but I will mispronounce stuff. So it says, you'll visit can't miss attraction and local flavor. So puzzle with the optimal activities to maximize your experience. Play competitively or solo, earn victory points by successfully navigating cities, making the most of your favorite activities, and fulfilling your personal goals. So it's a very interesting idea on how you're going to play it. So we're going to go ahead. Before we jump into how to play it, I'm just going to go through some of the stuff that came in the box. First of all, I got some just extra Kickstarter-y little decals, like some tape. I got some stickers. Stuff that's non-gameplay essential. We also got a luggage tag. So this is just stuff. This probably won't be in your copy of the box. It's probably just for the specific. We do have 2 extra little expansions that we will get to later on. But those will be at the end of the video. We also got some postcards, so I'll maybe look at those a little bit later too, because again, that's not gameplay stuff. You're going to get 5 boards, so it's kind of cool. You can play up to 5 players right off the bat. Each board has some extra cool stuff. We'll look at that. You're going to get a turn tracker, a travel journal, which is actually to keep track of your scores at the end of the game. So like player 1 through 5, how much you scored in each day, how much you scored for each of them for a total. So there's quite a few of those. Plus there's some special travel goals, probably for like solo player. Or you just want to see if you can beat these ever. which is really cool. And at the beginning, we have a bunch of phrases like, hello, konnichiwa, good morning. Ooh, I'm already gonna mess this one up. Nope, not even gonna try it. I'm gonna stop right now because I know I'm gonna mess up almost every one of these except for thank you, which is arigato. But you know that from the song. Yeah, yakakata. I won. I probably know that from watching Heroes. We're gonna get 5 badges. You're gonna have special tokens for each board. Whole like your character, your color specific tokens. We got 2 badges with a ton of tokens. Now I did upgrade and I have the wooden tokens. So I believe that if you get your game, you'll probably have just little cardboard tokens. So they kind of show them in the book. But I did, again, I upgraded to the Kickstarter version, so I'm going to get, they'll be the exact same tokens. I just wanted the thicker tokens. I like thicker upgraded tokens. We get a tokens bag, which I'm going to assume that says tokens. And then we have 2 deck bags for Tokyo and Kyoto, which I guess, again, is probably just going to say on the backs here. For each one, and they are going to have our different deck cards. We have a different deck for Kyoto, which will have all the different stuff, and they are tarot-sized cards. I don't know how well they'll fit in here all sleeved. This is something I will definitely be sleeving, but I might need to buy a few more sleeves than what I have. But that's what we have for that. So we're going to go ahead and kind of hop into the rules a bit, just so we get an idea of what we're looking at when we look at all the cards and boards. So let's go to Japan. Alright, so how to win. The game consists of 13 rounds, which are players draw activity cards strategically place them in different days on their week-long itinerary, followed by a final round, which they ultimately go to their planned trip, activating each of their cards in order along the way. The player collecting the most points by the end of the trip wins. So what also I like about this game is that it's a 13-round game. And I do like games that have a final end point. So it's not just play until either you finally decide to win or you get lucky enough to get the winning thing. I do like games where they're where you just play through and they're like, you have X number of turns to do this. Because then you're playing each turn, and then you know it's done. So when the game says, it takes, about 45 minutes. Obviously, that might depend on, can waver a little bit, depending on how long players sit around and think, or how many players. If you're playing a 1-player or a 5-player game, time is obviously going to vary. But you can, at least, once you play one game, you're like, oh, this took 4 of us a half hour to play. You can generally assume it's going to be about a half-hour game. So yeah, I'm not going to go through every single little aspect on here for setting everything up because some of it just kind of gets done. But more or less what you do is you're going to place your playboard on the table, which will have your different colors. You're going to take a set of 5 tokens for the 5 different, I forgot what they're called, favorable condition tokens. Set all the other ones kind of off into the middle for everybody. In the center, you're going to have a happiness token or stress token. It's called a mood tracker. And you'll put one in the center. Something you have negative moves, you have happy moves. And on the bottom, you'll have 2 little faces for each one of those. Let's see if I can find that token quick. Yes, you'll have one that looks like that for happy, and then there's a little red one for stress. Which should be anywhere in this bag. And I'll keep certain cards that give you points, plus or minus, depending on your stress and how you do stuff. So it kind of also simulates a trip. And we'll get into more on that in a little bit. I'll place the Kyoto cards on one side. Tokyo have a shared discard pile. That's mine. Turn tracker. And that's more or less what you do to start off. But then what you also do is, so we have these trackers here on the bottom for Monday through Saturday. So, just a sec. I got lost here for a moment. So it says right here, draw. One player randomly places each of their 6 favorable condition tokens in a circular spots corresponding to one of the 6 days, Monday to Saturday, at the bottom of their playboard. All other players place their favorable conditions on their morning, matching the exact same day. Do not use a day trip favorable token unless playing with the expansion. So what it does then is every game can be a little bit more random. So like here we're gonna have red, yellow, green, orange, black, and plus minus happiness. So each day is gonna have a special favor or favorable day. Like, hey, this day you really want to probably go to the shrines, or this day you want to go shopping. This day you want to go to eat. And then first one player arranges them in a certain order, then everyone plays the same after it. So everyone will have the same board, but that can change from day to day, or from game to game. There's different icons. You have temples and shrines, food and drink, nature and gardens, shopping and goods, and unique experiences. There's also symbols for wilds, points, stress, and happiness. And stress with the lightning bolt is kind of like physical stress, and or either one. And then the yang one is for your money. And each card we're going to have different things. So we have on the top there, we have with A, experience and mood track icons. Indicates which experience and mood track tokens will be moved in a player's board when the card is activated at the end of the game. B is for points. Points scored are worth at the end of the game. So the top is kind of how you calculate your end of the game stuff. C is your name and description of the card. You talk about these things. Even over here, they have a bunch of descriptions, which is really fun. D is your city you're in, which is either pink or blue. There are also yellow ones as well. They will be found in both decks of the exact same set of cards, but they're kind of like generalized areas. So it might be something that can be done in both areas very easily. E is your highlighted of the day requirement, indicate what is needed to earn the card's bonus points, and F is highlight bonus points. So if you complete E, you get F, and you gain some extra points. So how do we play? We have draw cards, play cards, day bonuses, and end of round. Fairly simple. So we're going to have that little tracker we saw earlier, which we'll keep track of. It's going to tell you what to do on each of your turns. Beginning of each round, player will draw activity cards simultaneously to your hand, indicated by the tracker token on the board. This icon means such that if it has a T and K, it means draw 1 card from Tokyo, 1 from Kyoto. If it has both, draw 2 from each deck. The text below the icon displayed on the round tracker and how many cards, either 1 or 2, the players will play and pass that round. So for the first 4 turns, you will draw a card, draw 2 cards, 1 from each deck. You will play 1 of those. You will pass 1 to the next player. And you'll do that for all 4. Then when you hit round 5, we'll have icon means you draw the entire stack of cards from the upper right corner of their player board. The number of cards in the stack should match the exact number. So we'll draw 1 and pass 1, draw, pass, draw 1, pass. So by here we'll pass 4 cards. Then instead of drawing from the decks, you'll play the 4 cards the other players passed you. And then you'll play 2 of those cards, and you'll pass 2. So at the end of every turn, you'll have no cards in your hand. You'll draw your cards, and you'll play them all. So you're not going to be sitting around with all these options, like, oh, I can save this one for later, I can do that. So it's kind of, and then halfway through the game, you actually rotate and it flips around, and you play the other direction. So that's kind of cool. At the end of both rounds, both player and pass cards, no player should have cards left in their hand. There are research tokens during the game. You may earn research tokens at any time after drawing the regular cards, but before passing cards, a player may discard a research token to draw 3 cards, any combination, and then immediately discard 3 cards face up to the center area. So that's a way you can get extra options. For 2, we play cards. Each round, players will play either one or two cards simultaneously to their itinerary, as indicated by the text on the board. So now, since you're essentially playing your own little game, you can kind of look at what other people are doing to see where they're scoring points and stuff, but you're sort of just playing your own board, and you're not really interacting with the other players at all. That's why everyone can kind of play at the same time. The upper section of the card will show which of the 5 experience tokens will move forward on the track, and or which way the move token will move. Tokens do not move until the player goes on their trip in the final round. She's just saying they will move eventually. The bottom of section each card shows the potential bonus points that may be earned, where the final round of the card occupies the highlighted day. So what this essentially means is this. When I go to play a card, I'm going to play See a Concert. I can play it either on the one free space in Wednesday. I can play it either on the top or the bottom on Thursday. We can watch a sumo match. Or I can play it on any of the 3 spots on Tuesday. But you're only ever going to have 3 cards per spot. So like Monday, Friday, and Saturday, I already have 3 cards I cannot play there. But you can play them in any order because you're scoring them at the end of the game. And then you also see is as you score them, you cover up, so only the bottom text actually shows. This is your highlight of the day. So when I get done scoring Monday, I'm going to do this, do this, do this, and then I'm going to check this to see if I've met that requirement. So like every time, so that way your bottom card is going to make a huge difference on if you can score that or not. So like for example, this one's needing me to have 4 of this colored token, and probably not going to have 4 tokens on my first turn. So like maybe the other rewards were worth it, or maybe I set them up for a later turn. It says once a card has been placed, it may not be discarded, move to a different day, or swap the position of another card in the same day. So you can still place cards on top of each other, but I can't decide. I can't later pick up, go see a kabuki show and move it to the bottom. Once it's there, it's there. I can put a card in between those 2, but I can't change that. When playing cards, players should consider maximizing points by placing cards in a day which in the favorable condition token on their playboard matches the most icons in the upper section of the card, since you'll earn them bonuses. So that's like saying if that first one here is food, they're going to gain extra points basically for playing 2 food. Versus over here on Thursday, they have happiness, and they so far don't have any happiness on there. So they're not going to gain as much of a bonus. But sometimes it's just what you have to do. Also, placing Tokyo cards adjacent to other Tokyo cards and Kyoto next to Kyoto, so that fewer train tokens worth minus 2 points each will be used. So this is another neat aspect of the game. When you have to travel from one city to the other, you have to spend train tokens to go. So, and here, yellow is fine, blue, 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 blue. Like, all these are blue, but when they have to jump over here to Kyoto, they're going to have to spend a train token, so they lose points, because they have to spend time on the train. So if you can keep lots of stuff in your column the same, that's better, but you don't want to be playing, Tokyo, Kyoto, Tokyo, Kyoto, Tokyo, Kyoto, because you'll be losing so many extra points that way. Place cards with requirements for the bonuses on highlighted day are met by that trip, and we'll see more of that in a moment. Going for a walk. If a player does not like card options in their hands, they decide to leave part of their schedule open to chance by going for a walk and exploring Japan. The player does this by discarding 1 card from their hand, face up on the discard pile, taking the top card face down without looking at it from either deck and placing it in their itinerary as they would any activity. So on the back of every card it says going for a walk. So basically you look at 1 card, I know I don't want this, you can discard it and hope for a potential gamble. But they also get one of those research tokens. While a player goes for their chip in the final round, they'll reveal it and decide if they want to play it and activate it face up, or if face down, which case does not activate but it is worth happiness on the mood tracker. Walk cards may occupy highlight day positioning if face up. It earns a bonus if normal. Face down is worth 2 points as indicated. So there we go. So that's kind of interesting. So we do have day bonuses on the bottom. It says whenever a player plays a third activity in the column, they have finished playing that day and should check for bonuses by counting the total number of icons in the upper section of the 3 cards for that day that match the favorable condition token. These matches mean a player schedules activity on a day when the conditions are particularly favorable, such as weather is nice, shopping activity when there's big sales going on. Based on the number of matching icons, the player chooses one of the available bonuses indicated in the upper left of the board. So this is after you've played this 3rd card. Then you'll immediately check for your favorable tokens. So this will be Friday. They'll have 2 matching icons. Saturday, they have 2 matching icons. As of right now, Tuesday only has 1. But if they play another card here, they'll have 2. So then they get bonus. They can get bonus 1 or 2. You should get some extra stuff. Research tokens, mood tracker, luxury train, which gets them some bonuses, or go on an extra walk. So kind of cool. And some highlights for Kyoto, which is really neat. It's a neat little addition to the game. Day bonus icons, so you can get wild tokens. When a player goes on a trip in the final round, they can discard a wild token anytime to move an experience token of their choice 1 space forward. Extra walks. I'm not going to go over too much of these. At the end of the round, once players have finished their cards and taken their day bonuses, they should pass the remaining cards according to the round tracker and have no cards left in their hand. The round has now ended, and the tracker token should be moved to the right. At the end of the 13th round, tracker token will be moved past the board. The plan is finished. At this point, players should place all necessary trade tokens for traveling between Tokyo and Kyoto on their cards. I'm going to jump to that really quick. We're going to look at what that means. So, for trains, at the end of the 13th round, before the round which players begin activating cards, place all trains. Each time a player travels between Tokyo and Kyoto or vice versa, they must place one of the following trains. Starter train has no benefits or penalties. Does not need to be the first train. Luxury train, if you can earn it with a bonus, benefits 2 happiness, which moves your player tracker or 1 happiness, and also gets you 2 bonus points. Regular train gets you -2. Players must take as many regular tokens as needed to complete their itinerary. If the player ends the day in Tokyo and begins next day in Kyoto, they must still take a train token and place it above the cards in the column. Some cards have yellow background that don't count. Face down or extra walk cards are counted as being in the same city as indicated on the back of the card. Any type of train token placed in a itinerary counts towards future highlight of the day requirements. Unused luxury trains are not worth 0 points. You don't use them, you don't get them. So basically you're going to do this. So it's like when they went from Kyoto to Tokyo, they played 1 start. And at the end of the next round, they had to put another one for each one. So right there, they have -8 points. -6 total. So just from traveling. So it's definitely not great to be doing that a lot. But sometimes you might need to do it for the symbols, or it's what's available in your hand. Cool. Let's look at final round going to trips. This is how we score at the end of the game. At this point, activity cards. The player activates cards in their itinerary order from Monday to Saturday. Start the card at the top column Monday going downward so the upper section is highlighted. Players repeat this process for Tuesday through Saturday. It is strongly recommended for your first game and all your games to have players take turns narrating and enriching activities as they did for each day. It's more fun that way. Alternatively, experienced players could activate and score in the round simultaneously. So while it might take longer, they're kind of being like, hey, player 1 gets to go, I did this on Monday. And the next player's like, I did this on Monday. Versus, and kind of talk about like what you did, like where you went. Versus just being like, and this is a thing I find with a lot of gaming groups, is people are just like, end of the day, or end of the term when it comes to scoring, or they play turns, they're just like, okay, Monday I got 6 points, Tuesday I got 8 points. It's like, they're kind of taking out the excitement of the whole game. You're supposed to be trying to go to Japan. Where did you go? Oh, I went here, I went here, I went here. Be kind of cool. Alright, so they're doing their scoring for Monday. She finishes scoring 3 points for Kinjuku Temple. So she gets 3 points for the kitty cat there, which is a Nico. or Neko. I might be saying that wrong. And moves her temple shrine token 1 space to the right. So she's going to move it over 1 from 0 to 1. So we're all there. Then she scores 1 point for Kiyomizuguria Temple and moves her temple shrines, nature gardens, and unique experiences 1 to each to the right. So she moved her blue and pink ones over, and she would move this one to the second spot, and gained another point. So now she has 4 points. Then she scores 3 points for Akagi Nenbajitsu Temple and moves her temple and shrines 1 more. So that's why that's now over on the 3. So 1 for each one of those. Lastly, she checked if she has scored any bonuses for the temple, since it's the card at the bottom or tracker on the highlight of the day position. Since it has reached 3 or more, she also gets 5 experience points plus 1 for each unique experience point she has earned. If she has earned any unique experiences later, they do not score. So she only had 1 extra. So she earned her 3 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 1 to score 13 points for the first day. So that's definitely not bad. And then you go to day 2, and then move your other tokens over and do the same thing. You just keep repeating that. There's our Tokyo highlights. So out of the day bonus is going to show us. In addition, some points allow additional movement experience trackers and mood tokens indicated by the pictures. As the trip is being scored when a player comes upon a face-down walk or extra walk card placed in their itinerary, they reveal and decide whether to play it and activate it face-up position or leave it face down. If the player chooses to activate a card face up, they should take 1 walk token or supply token and place it on the upper section of the card to remind those players a walk or extra walk. If it was placed at the bottom of the column position, chooses to get 2 extra points. Cool. There's that. Then we have our mood tracker here. So we have an overall mood tracker at the top, and then we have a stress and happiness tracker. Traveling can be an immensely rewarding experience, but it also comes with frustrations. There are 4 types of stress. Stress from doing expensive activities, stress from doing strenuous, crowded, or otherwise challenging, and then happiness from doing inexpensive or discounted, or happiness from doing peaceful or relaxing. Either red arrow moves a player's mood tracker 1 space to the left, while either green arrow moves 1 place to the right. These movements occur as normal when going on a trip in the final round, not when the card is initially played. The exception of player takes a day bonus. When mood tracker reaches the rightmost space on the tracker, tracker places 1 space, moves to the right. So once green hits all the way over, now you get to move your green one over a space. Whenever it's your leftmost space, moves 1 space. If either happiness or stress tracker should be moved when it's already on the rightmost space, then it does not move and it stays where it is. But the mood token resets to the normal space. So once I've hit all the way over here, if I have to play another spot, I will move it back to the center. It doesn't just keep accumulating. But you can see, you can lose a lot of points, but you can gain a lot of points depending on what you play. More interesting knowledge there. Alright, we only got a little bit more. We're going to finish up going kind of through how some of this works, and I think we'll do all the rest of the unboxing in a part 2 video, because this is getting a little bit long. So here, it's just showing you scoring his final return on Tuesday, showing you scoring his 3 points. So now it's just adding in everything else that we didn't see before. So it's adding in our 3 points there. He's going to move his tokens over, moves his stress over 1, minus 2 points for his train. Then the second day, he's going to move his happiness over 2, minus 2 for his train, but plus 1 there. 2 more, which will score him a bonus for his happiness. And at the very bottom, it's going to show, was his stress moved over at least twice? This is last week checked if he scored any points per onsen. The stress icon stayed at Ryokan does not count towards a bonus requirement since it's a different type of stress. So it's showing up here. So that one doesn't count because it's looking for 2 of those icons. But the bonus, however, the icons you're taking a drum class from the previous day do count, so you guys count those two up there. Just score 5 points plus 2 points, and you just relieve a little bit more. It says and it says it's plus 1 per energy one, so you get 1 for each of those, but not for those because they're different symbols. So here he scored 12 points for that day. 3, 1, and 1 for those two. 5 for this one. And then 1 more for that. Plus 2 more for that one. So that's where he scores all his points. And then at the end down here, at the very end, he'll score some extra. We went over training, so we can skip that. Then we have the experience tracker. At the end of the trip, after scoring, players earn points for whether each of their 5 experience tokens on their track is. So it's going to show up there. Scores no point for shopping good, as only on the 4 space. Scores 4 points for nature garden, because it's between 4 and 8. 8 for the other 2, and 12 for the last one. So the higher you can get them, you can definitely earn some extra there. And then you go through your final score. So how many points you scored on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through Saturday. Your combination of your stress and happiness, so the plus and minuses on them, your experience tracker, what you got for trains, and if you had any research tokens. So there we go. That is essentially how that does. Then there's some extra rules in there, just how to work some of these. I'm not going to get too much into each of those. And then there is a solo rule mode. You're competing against a travel agent to plan the best trip to Japan. Every game is formal for a 2-player game, except the travel agent's experience tokens all start on the 2 spaces. The game plays as normal with a few exceptions. When you pass cards to the travel agent, immediately place them face up in their itinerary. The first card you pass to them will be at top of their Monday column. The second will be the middle of their Monday column. The third card will be at the bottom of their Monday column in the highlight day. The fourth card will be at the top of their Tuesday, and so on and so forth. When you pass 2 cards to the travel, and you choose the order which they are placed. Whenever you pass a card, take a face-down card from the deck matching the city of the card you passed and place it in the upper right corner of your own board, as you were passed as normal. When you pass the yellow card in no specific city, you may choose which deck to take the cards from. And then you just score as normal. Except they score all of their highlighted day bonus, whether they met the requirements or not. So basically, they're more experienced than you, so they're going to have a higher difficulty. But that's what we have for this. This is the how to play video. Just kind of want to go through the rules. I will do a part 2 if you watch this. We'll go through all the different cards, look at the tokens a little bit more, the boards and all that, a little bit up close. But I think we'll save that, again, for part 2, just because some people might not want to sit through an entire how to play, then watch me go through all this. And plus, with 160 cards, just kind of reading through all of them might take a little bit of time. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Check out part 2. See you guys then. Bye.